がここにいるうちの本物のスクールスポーツのために行こうぜベイビーバンこの国は気をつけて、現実になることがありますからね。
Alright, so right now I'm just patrolling and enjoying the streets of Roppongi. It's my first time in Roppongi, so it's great to be here. It's Christmas right now, so a lot of people out with their families. You know, got a Christmas tree. You got the different color leaves over there. It's beautiful. It really is beautiful as an American to experience this as an American. This is something I'll never forget. But there's not a whole lot going on in boxing right now. The year for 2024 is effectively done. There's only one major fight remaining, and it's here in Japan on New Year's Eve between Kazuto Ioka and Fernando Martinez. So with it being so slow in the news right now, I wanted to do a bit of a different video. I wanted to tell the story of why I cover Japanese boxing, get people to understand where I'm coming from, how it all started, why I love Japanese boxing so much, and all that good stuff. So we'll start from the very beginning. When I first started covering boxing in 2015, around this time, you know, the monster Inoue, who's now, you know, one of the greatest fighters in the world and a future Hall of Famer, he had really started making waves around like 2015, 2016. This is when HBO started to mention his name a lot. So the HBO Inoue hype, them talking about him fighting Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez in the future super fight, you know, that piqued my interest because Roman Gonzalez, as many of you guys may know, is my favorite boxer in the history of the sport. So, you know, when I would watch these highlights of Inoue back in the day, beating these guys like Kohei Kono and Omar Narvaez, these kind of fighters, he passed the eye test and he got me really excited about boxing. Just being such a fluid boxer, puncher with great defense, athleticism, you know, just someone that you want to watch. You know, you want to watch him fight because he's exciting. That played a big role. I think Inoue has for a lot of American boxing fans and viewers, he's made us pay attention a lot more to Japanese boxing. That's number one. But it wasn't Inoue on his own that brought me to Japanese boxing. Let me put you guys on game. So Shunsuke Yamanaka, you know, he used to always be on the pound for pound list back in the day, like 2015, 2016. You know, former WBC bantamweight champion, southpaw, big left hand. He had a really exciting rematch with Anselmo Moreno in, I'm gonna say it was 2016, 2015-ish, somewhere around that time. And I was always seeing this guy's name on the Ring Magazine pound for pound list, and it was the only name I didn't know. And I remember on the Ring Magazine, it would always say the name, the record, and how many weeks they had been on the pound for pound list. And I remember when I would look at Yamanaka, yeah, he would be like number 7 or number 8, but he had been on the pound for pound list as long as anybody on the list at that time. So I wanted to know who he was, so I started, you know, researching him and watching him fight and covering his career, starting with the Moreno fight. And I loved what I saw. It was a very exciting fight. So you could say that along with it, in a way, that it was actually Shunsuke Yamanaka as well who really at first drew me to cover boxing in Japan. So that was kind of like phase 1 of covering Japanese boxing. And then phase 2 would be those middle Inoue years of the monster, you know, when he was fighting in the World Boxing Super Series. There wasn't a whole lot of American boxing YouTubers talking about the monster at that time. And then at that time too, a lot of people that aren't as familiar with the lower weight classes, the lighter weight categories, they would always downplay who he fought, and it could be the best guys in the division. They would say that he's not fighting no one, he's fighting bums, he's fighting guys that are mismatches, and I wasn't having it. So I felt like it was upon me as a self-respecting boxing fan who knows a great fighter when he sees one, that I had to tell people what the real deal was. And I was telling everyone back then that Inoue was better than Canelo, better than a lot of guys in boxing, and they wasn't trying to hear it. So, you know, like one of the things that I'm really proud of that I do wear as a badge of honor throughout my time here covering boxing on YouTube is the fact that no American content creator has covered Inoue for as long and as consistently as I have. And I think one day that'll all pay off and I will get a chance to interview him at the right time. But yeah, I think those middle years, you know, like the World Boxing Super Series, the Donaire fights. Remember, I was going live talking about those fights years ago, and there really wasn't anybody else doing that. So there was that, and then I think things really hit the crescendo with covering Japanese boxing when the Inoue Fulton fight. But yeah, like I was saying, things really hit a new high when the Inoue and Stephen Fulton fight got signed, because that was a fight I was very excited about. I thought Stephen Fulton, at that point in time, was the best opponent of his career. You know, Fulton, I thought, was an incredibly good 122 pounder who was beating a lot of great fighters, and I wanted to see them match up. And it presented a unique scenario where an American would have to go to Japan, which I'd never seen in my time covering boxing, you know, on that level. So I thought it was pretty cool. And I just remember the videos for that fight that I was making at the time. The build up to the fight was unlike anything I ever experienced. You know, this is around the time when I had really began to develop a great relationship with the Japanese audience I do have here on YouTube. People were sending me Japanese newspapers. I was having not one, not two, but multiple people, like 3-4 different people send me Inoue magazines, Japanese, and not just Inoue, but like Kenshiro, Junto, Jin Sasaki, Club Show Boxing, Japanese memorabilia, like, and that's when things really kind of intensified. You know, I started to GoFundMe because I was crazy enough to believe in myself to get to Japan from South Florida. And some of you guys helped, and I appreciated that. And then eventually, you know, by the grace of God, I got here, and you know, you guys saw the interviews with Kenshiro and Kosai Tanaka and Shuichiro Yoshino and all those guys from last year, and here we are now. And the funny thing is too, the first Japanese boxer I ever interviewed was in 2016, and it wasn't a great interview. It doesn't even have a lot of views here on YouTube. It had like 68 views. It did nothing. The lighting was terrible. The audio was bad. I had no clue what I was doing, and I knew literally nothing about Yoshihiro Kamagai, because that's who it was. I interviewed Yoshihiro Kamagai because he had a rematch with Jesus Soto Karass on the undercard of Chocolatito versus Cuadras in 2016. And little did I know that was going to be the precursor to what I'm doing here now. So now I've made it a focus on this channel to cover the Japanese boxing scene as much as I can, not just in a way, but you know, we try to consistently cover the guys like Kenshiro and Kosai Tanaka and Juzo Nakatani and Seigo Yuriokui, and the list goes on and on and on, and even the prospects, you know, when they come, Hayato Tsutsumi as well, because I feel like, and I'll just keep it all the way real, I feel like Top Rank doesn't do a great job of really giving people the full picture of Japanese boxing, and they could, because they have the resources, they have people that work for the company they could send here, and they don't do none of that, you know. And a lot of Americans don't really get a chance to watch the Japanese fighters fight live, because they fight on Tuesdays at 2 or 3 in the morning, you know, so it's hard, it's difficult. And then, you know, Japanese promoters like to kind of keep everything sheltered in Japan, so it's like, I feel like I've been a good bridge for the Americans and the Japanese, you know, in a sense. And I'm just trying to bring something new to the boxing game. I feel like I'm filling a void. I feel like this is where I'm needed. I feel like this is one of the things that really makes this channel special. And some of my most special experiences covering boxing have been through these videos about Japanese boxing. It still astounds me and blows my mind that I'm meeting people here in Japan that I never knew before because of videos of me looking into this camera and talking about boxing. It's crazy to me, but yeah, that's just some background information on me. I like the fact about Japanese boxing that the fights are very well matched. I like the fact that, you know, if you're watching a card in a Japanese card, you're gonna see like competitive fights. You're gonna see fighters matched at the perfect stages of their career. You're not gonna see a lot of marination for big fights. It doesn't happen. It's a different culture. Prospects get put in tough. They have tournaments for prospects. I mean, just the way the sport is ran here in Japan, it's ran like a sport, and that's what I love about it. They have that level of respect for the sport, that it's ran as such, which is a sport, not an entertainment product, not any of that, a sport. And that's really what it is. So I'm gonna keep making these Japanese boxing videos. I hope you guys are enjoying them. I hope the Americans are enjoying them. I know a lot of people are enjoying them, so the best is yet to come. There's so many more interviews. We've had the luxury of sitting down with Japanese fighters like Kenshiro twice, Seigo Yuriokui, Seiya Tsutsumi, Shuichiro Yoshino, Homura Fujita, Jin Sasaki, and there's just much more to come. So stay tuned for True School Sports. Keep supporting me. And yeah, thank you. Thank you for watching another video on the untouchable True School Sports Empire. For more great boxing content just like this, make sure you guys click right over here.
Keep watching my boy BT put on the best interviews out here.